Welcome to this presentation of the U-CERT Roadshow. U-CERT introduces the next generation of user-centered energy performance assessment and certification scheme. One aspect is to make the calculated energy performance more realistic. In this presentation, I will focus on the effort of U-CERT towards an energy assessment that comes closer to the actual situation that is assessed. My name is Marleen Spiekman and I prepared this presentation. I am an engineer and social scientist and try to bridge these two domains in the work that I do. I work at TNO, which is a research institute in the Netherlands. Research focuses on improving the performances of buildings so they become more energy efficient, but not only in theory, but also in reality. U-CERT proposes a protocol to make energy performance calculations more realistic. This protocol is aimed at professionals in the field of energy labeling. In this presentation, I will focus on the background of the protocol and zoom in on the reasons why we made it and why a more realistic energy performance calculation might be important for users of the label too. For those who want to know more about the technical details, you can find these in the U-CERT deliverable 3.2, which is available at the project's website. Your house or apartment, as many buildings in Europe, probably has an energy label. In many countries in the EU, this label is based on a calculation of your energy used. The label contains an indication of how energy friendly the house is. For instance, A or A+ for energy efficient houses, or D or E for less energy efficient ones. And the label also gives an indication of the energy use of your house. The big advantage of having a label based on a calculation is that you can quite easily calculate how much energy you will save when you, for instance, insulate your roof or install a heat pump. However, we see that the calculated energy use is quite far off the actual energy use you see on your energy meter. This has multiple reasons, but one of the important ones is that energy use is calculated based on a standard user, while we know that there are large differences between users. We see that among neighbors that live in the same street, the most wasteful neighbor might use up to 4 times as much energy than the most efficient neighbor, while their house has the same energy label. So the energy use on the label does not represent your actual energy use, and that might affect the assessment of the best energy saving measures for your situation. And that is not the only issue. A multitude of studies done in many countries show that there is a gap between the theoretical energy use and the actual average energy use of that label. The graph you see here shows that phenomenon. The dark orange bars illustrate the average theoretical energy use per label, and the light orange bars the average actual energy use per label. For less energy efficient F and G label houses, you see that on average, the theoretical energy use is much higher than the actual energy use. For better labels, this gap becomes smaller, and for highly energy efficient A label houses, the actual energy use is on average even a little bit higher than the energy use calculated by the label. This trend is seen in many countries. And the consequence is that when you renovate your house from label F to A, the energy savings are on average less than expected based on the label. In order to narrow the gap and do more justice to the differences in behavior between households, U-CERT proposes a protocol that can be used to extend the calculation of the label. This protocol describes how the calculation method can incorporate the individual user behavior of the consumers that live in the house or apartment that is assessed for the certificate. This can be done on different levels of detail depending on the data of the user behavior that is available or can be gathered. On the lowest level, a very simple questionnaire is used, but also more extensive questionnaires could be used to assess behavior in more detail, and even sensor data could be coupled to the calculation model. The protocol describes how this extra data can be incorporated in the existing calculation model to assess a more realistic energy use, which then could be used for better information and advice to the building owner or tenant about the best way of making their house more energy efficient. Thank you for your attention.